Thank you, Reshman. December, often a gruelling time if you are challenging for honours, and Manchester City play the fourth of 8 games this month. And with Leeds also here on Tuesday, Pep Guardiola will be hoping his side can make short work of Wolves today. But they have rediscovered the defensive durability they often displayed under Nuno Espirito Santo. And the team are looking to extend their lead, maybe only for a short time, to 4 points at the top of the Premier League table here today. Reminder, 2 changes from the match against Watford. Walker and Foden dropping out, Zinchenko and Jesus coming in. Ederson, Cancelo, Laporte, Diaz and Zinchenko the back 4. Gundogan, Rodri and Bernardo Silva in midfield. Sterling, Grealish and Jesus in attack. Wolves 1 change, Hwang on the bench. João Moutinho into midfield. Jose Sarr in goal. Kilman, Cody and Saiss the back 3. Neves, Dendoncker and Moutinho in midfield. Semedo and Aït-Nouri in the wide areas. Traoré playing off Jimenez in attack. And game day is underway once again here across the TalkSport network. Exclusive Premier League commentary today from here at the Etihad. Stamford Bridge at 3 o'clock over on TalkSport 2, where Chelsea play Leeds, and then Carrow Road this evening, where Norwich meet Manchester United. You will not hear all of those games anywhere else. And over on TalkSport 2, at the moment, the home of the EFL Championship action is underway between Huddersfield and Coventry at the John Smith Stadium. Manchester City in all sky blue, playing from left to right in the first half as we look out from our position just behind the 2 technical areas here. Wolves wearing all black today, jettisoning the old gold for this match. And so far, they have barely had a kick as City have stroked the ball around, Trevor.
Yeah, I just have to say, go back on that Ian Niven tribute. Fantastic trailblazer, first academy set up in the UK, and great applause given by the home fans. But yeah, Manchester City, you'll expect them to have a lot of possession today, usually averaging around 70% possession. It's just, I think when you look at the Wolves side, they've got to enjoy doing this part of the game, because conceding only 13 goals this season shows you that they're very good at it. And it'll be interesting to see how they can cope with Manchester City, because they do keep possession and probe you and work your legs really hard throughout the 90-95 minutes of a match.
And the Wolves fans, who are strung across 3 tiers behind the goal away to our right hand side, see Nelson Semedo briefly regain possession, but City now have it back here with nearly 2 minutes played on TalkSport. Saturdays were made for game day as Sterling makes a burst into the penalty area, shoots towards the near post. There were half-hearted appeals for a penalty, but they were waved away by John Moss. Sterling looking for his 100th Premier League goal today, but denied on this occasion as Bernardo Silva goes to ground to win it back for Aït-Nouri just in front of us, but João Moutinho slides in to rob Gundogan, and Wolves have it back again. And as Trevor said, Wolves are a side who have shown real solidity throughout the season, even when they've not been scoring goals, as Neves tries to spray it wide to this near side, the left, looking for Aït-Nouri, but overhit and straight out of play. And already Pep Guardiola looks like somebody on a dance floor from 1979 with those antics.
He's lively, he's very animated. But I'm just looking at Bruno Lage, he's quite calm. You can see he's supporting his players, he's trying to help them with tiny little adjustments here and there with the shape of their side and reactions from when the ball gets switched across. But he looks like a manager who the players enjoy playing for, and that's going to be tested today, because against that amount of possession that Manchester City are going to have, especially with the quality of players that Manchester City have got, it's going to be very difficult for them to keep that belief that they can keep Manchester City out for this whole game.
3 minutes played, 0-0. City's winning streak in all competitions came to an end in Leipzig in the Champions League in midweek, but they're looking for 6 Premier League wins in a row here today. Wolves with only 2 points from their previous 3 with no goals scored, as Cancelo playing on the right today threads it into the penalty area. It breaks for Rodri, wide towards Bernardo Silva again. Sterling makes the run to the far post, and the cross from Cancelo is blocked by Aït-Nouri, and it goes behind for the first corner for City on this near side there right.
Yeah, surprising that Rodri didn't pull the trigger there. Scored a fantastic goal a couple of weeks ago from a similar area where it just come at him and he launched it. I think he got the Premier League goal of the month. But again, the ball, when it goes into players, the triggers from other players around them to make forward movements beyond lines, it's really difficult to track that and make sure you nullify them kind of attacks.
Gundogan will take the corner. Grealish is the shorter option down this near side, but it's in towards that near post, chested down unchallenged by Semedo, and he can clear long downfield up towards the halfway line. The ball just skids off the surface onto the chest of João Cancelo, who is able to control, plays it forward again high towards the edge of the penalty area. Well, Jimenez, wearing the headband, wins an aerial duel with Grealish, then comes away from that challenge clutching his knee, but City play on wide on the far side. Gundogan infield again to the fair head Zinchenko, but he's quickly closed down, and Wolves at the moment are not giving City too much room around the penalty area. This may turn out to be a game of patience here for Pep Guardiola's team, as Cancelo plays it wide to this near side again, and Silva. And Wolves are playing a very high line to compress that space around the edge of the area.
Yeah, it's really important that the goalkeeper, Jose Sa, has got a good starting position, because if he hasn't, that gap will be utilised by Manchester City. They'll get forward runs, either in to out or from deep positions, and they'll end up with a one-on-one. So his starting position is going to be integral. Jonathan Moss, the referee there, missed one. Grealish went to launch the ball, not knowing that Raúl Jimenez was going to head it, and he kicked him in the calf, and he got away with it, Grealish. That should have been a foul to Wolves.
First attack here for Wolves, and it's Adama Traore on this left-hand side, plays it back in field towards Jimenez, 25 yards from goal. He's able to bring the ball down, works the 1-2 with Dendoncker on the edge of the area. Rodri comes in with a challenge, but it's won back by Jimenez, and now Semedo in the wide area on the far side, but it's Gabriel Jesus who wins it back, but then Jimenez has it now back in the penalty area. Semedo with the challenge, Neves with the cross in, looking for Traore, and it's flopped on by Ederson inside the 6-yard area.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy there from Jesus. He should have just shielded the ball and waited for options, because his teammates will have been told when he's in that left back position, make sure you make angles, whether it's Ederson, whether it's a winger or midfielder helping him out. He tried to take the player on in his own final third, lost possession, and that was quite a dangerous situation for Wolves that couldn't take full advantage of it.
And the rain now sweeping down here at the Etihad Stadium. 6 minutes played on Game Day on TalkSport, as Grealish has been caught on the far side, and it will be a free kick for City. And it was Dendoncker who slid in. He was on the wrong side. He was never going to get the ball as he took Grealish down. As Cancelo from the free kick brings it forward now down the right, fires the shot in right-footed, looking to arc one towards the far corner, but it's high over the top.
Yeah, decent strike, just couldn't get his foot over it, his body over the ball. Looked like it was arrowing towards the far top corner. Pretty comfortable there, the goalkeeper, Jose Sa. But yeah, why not 25 yards out? What that does is, next time he's in that position, it might draw out a couple more Wolves defenders, and that might enable Manchester City to look into the gaps that have been left and get bodies into there.
Jimenez winning another ball in the air, which was flicked on for Traore for Wolves, but Diaz was on the cover. The rain now absolutely torrential here, with 7 minutes played at the Etihad Stadium on TalkSport. Manchester City 0, Wolves 0 at the top of the Premier League on Game Day. Over on TalkSport 2, also goalless between Huddersfield and Coventry in the Championship, and a game which kicked off at 11:30 in the Women's Super League, and Chelsea are trailing by 1-0 at Reading early in the second half in Berkshire, so Emma Hayes won't be purring so far today, as it's brought forward on the far side by Grealish, but the challenge comes in from Dendoncker, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester City. When you look at the City bench today, it is immensely strong. Walker, Foden, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Ake, Stefan, Stones, Fernandinho, and the youngster Palmer.
So they've got a little bit of firepower.
If things aren't going too well, they do have game changers.
Just looking at the forward line, I think Raheem looks like he started on the right, Jesus as the number 9, but again it's just changed again. Grealish has gone into the centre, and Jesus has gone out to the left. They're just completely rotating as and when they feel necessary. I think it's more organic. It's not you're in that position. They might start in one position, then they're just told,
it's about areas,
enjoy rotation and fill the spaces.
It's all about creating overloads when the opposition either have the ball or when they can be vulnerable, and City of course are the best around at doing that. Here is Jesus coming in field from the left hand side, finding Ruben Diaz again. Wolves have everybody back defending, but it's threaded through towards Bernardo Silva, who tries to curl it left-footed from the right side of the penalty area, closer than Cancelo, but just over the top.
Yep, getting closer. Great little ball into him by Cancelo. He received it on his back foot really well, stepped inside on his left foot, probably right on the edge of the 18-yard box on the right-hand side, and he just whipped it. We've seen him do it a couple of weeks ago where it launched into the top corner. This one, he just got under it a little bit and was unable to hit the target, but dangerous situation there by Manchester City.
Aït-Nouri with a long ball forward for Wolves from the left-back area, looking for Traoré, but it's played out by Ruben Diaz once again. You're listening to Manchester City against Wolves on TalkSport with Now. Don't forget, with a Now Sports Day membership, you can stream all the Sky Sports action, including Norwich against Manchester United, live today for just $9.99 without a contract. Search Now Sports. It's given away by Ruben Neves, straight to Gundogan, midway inside the Wolves half. Now Rodri, square towards Cancelo. Traoré's not tracking his runs at all as the cross into the penalty area is headed away by Dendoncker on the far side. Wolves are almost playing a back six at times, with Dendoncker dropping in to help the three central defenders.
Which is great, Nigel, but when they win the ball back, where is their out ball? And when
it's long and hopeful to Traoré, isn't it?
But Traoré's not there because he's so deep. So all of a sudden, you've got no threat going the other way, and it's inevitable that the ball's just going to come back at you. And the problem is, when you try and build attacks now where they've got it in the right back position, Manchester City players lock on so tight, they don't give you any space. That ball over the top is very easy for Laporte there to clean up and then begin another wave of attacks.
10 minutes played, 0-0. Pep Guardiola looked exasperated a few moments ago as the move broke down on the edge of the Wolves penalty area as it's flighted wide by Diaz towards Zinchenko, who started the game against Leipzig in the Champions League. Now Gabriel Jesus given the room to turn on the edge of the area. Cancelo with a cross in from the right, volley clear high into the sky by Dendoncker on the edge of the box, and Wolves will clear, and Traoré uses the shoulder to send Rodrigo careering towards the technical area, and Rodrigo not too happy about that, but then he grabs the ball from Bruno Lage and looks to take a quick throw in, and John Moss just asks for Manchester City to try again, and in fact has given them a free kick.
Yeah, it's a bit of a naughty one that by Traoré, but again, it's a leveller. You can't just expect to come to Manchester City and let them roll the ball around without getting contact on them. You have to lay a paw on them, and that's exactly what Traoré's just done there with Rodri. Rodri wasn't too pleased. The foul was given, but you got away with one a little bit. It's quite dangerous because it was right near the edge of the pitch. Luckily, there's a decent area, probably about 5 minutes until you get to
the apron of the pitch.
Exactly, yes. So there was no real danger there, but yeah, a bit of a naughty challenge that.
No, if this had been Old Trafford, he would have been down in the moat. We'll remember the old Burnden Park.
Old Trafford's a dangerous one.
12 minutes played. Goalless here at the Etihad. Mark Wilson and Neil Redfern are bringing you Huddersfield against Coventry over on TalkSport 2, where it's currently goalless. Dan Windle will have all the goals as they go in live from Anfield. Steven Gerrard's return today as Liverpool face Aston Villa. Over on TalkSport 2, it's Chelsea against Leeds with Ian Danta and Perry Groves, and then 5:30 here on TalkSport, Lindsay Hipgrave in the chair commentary from Sam Matterface and Alvin Martin as Norwich play Manchester United. And just to mark your card, every single Premier League commentary this week, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, will be live and exclusive to the TalkSport network. TalkSport on Tuesday night, 7:30, Brentford against Manchester United. On Wednesday, we will have Arsenal against West Ham. Then on Thursday, here on TalkSport, Liverpool against Newcastle. Every other game will be either on TalkSport 2 or the TalkSport app. The best place to follow all of the action is to download the TalkSport app, head to the live commentary section, and then find out which game is where and when.
Just got away with a little one there. Jonathan Moss enabled the game to continue. It looked like Raheem Sterling was impeded by Sace, almost giving him a pity back in the end. He was all over him so much, but Jonathan Moss deemed it not a foul. A few of the Manchester City home fans were jeering at that because it looked like an obvious one to me.
Nearly 14 minutes played. Goalless here. Of course, Crystal Palace were the last side to win here in the Premier League, and City have won all of their games since. 31 wins in the calendar year, which is a club record. Liverpool have 33. That was set by their great team back in 1982 when the winning machine under Jose Mourinho at Chelsea in 2005 had 32. So it's
inevitable.
More than possible that City will break that record by the end of the year. But
how many records does he want to break?
Well, they could get 500 Premier League goals under Jose Mourinho today. Now Sterling has space, found by Bernardo Silva down the right, swung it to the near post, and Grealish was looking to flick the ball back between his legs towards goal, but never quite got hold of it, and it's gathered by Jose Sarr.
Yeah, good cross by Raheem. Not many options there, so he's gone for the low and hard, whipped it in. Grealish got across his man. He's tried to volley it, but do a Cruyff at the same time and just try and veer it into that far corner. He got too much purchase on it, and it was an easy one for Jose Sarr. But again, dangerous play down this right-hand side with Raheem Sterling. We've not seen him play on the right as much as we have on the left and down the centre, but I do feel he's a real danger there with his pace. If he gets half a yard, he can put them dangerous crosses in for the City forwards and midfield players to go and attack on the edge of the box.
And Rayan Aït-Nouri is a young player with a big problem trying to take care of him today. And Saiss is looking to get out and support him from the back three when he can, and João Moutinho maybe lacking the legs to do likewise from the advanced position as Bernardo Silva plays it into the area looking for Sterling down the right, but it's shepherded behind by Saiss, and that will be a goal kick. And Jose Sarr has not really had a shot to save so far with 15 minutes played.
No surprise. They're really disciplined. You can see the spaces between the three centre halves, the wing backs and the midfield are very small, and there's not a lot of areas for Manchester City to express themselves, so they're doing a good job. Going the other way, they've not really been dangerous at all, and that's the problem that this Wolves side pose. They will defend well, but they don't really threaten going the other way.
And the weather now here is absolutely dismal for both the players and the fans in the front of the lower tier, as Bernardo Silva is challenged by Aït-Nouri on this near side. He was looking for the free kick, but nothing is being given, and now Traoré receives it on the halfway line, muscles away from Ruben Diaz, and Neves plays it back towards Kilman. And Wolves have shown already that when the ball is there to be won, they will career through the challenges and do what they have to do. Here is Aït-Nouri on this near side, finding João Moutinho once again, tries to clip it infield, looking for Neves. City win it back, but then quickly lose it. Jimenez back towards João Moutinho once again, and now Conor Coady at the heart of the Wolves back three. Ruben Neves with the ever lengthening hair and the beard plays it back in field towards Coady again, and Wolves are set up to contain here, and they have done that pretty well throughout the season. We've spoken about only one goal in 5 previous games, but they are also keeping a high number of clean sheets so far this season, and there is real discipline to the way they play, but there is a lack of attacking threat at the moment. But once again, City look to play it forward with Gundogan, and it's cut out by Coady. And now Semedo in towards Jimenez on the halfway line. It breaks kindly for Dendoncker, wide towards Semedo again down the right. Dendoncker continues his run, but it's guided back by Laporte towards Ederson.
He does make me smile, Ederson. He's under all kinds of pressure, and he's so calm. His technical ability with the ball at his feet is second to none for a goalkeeper, and yeah, he makes it look very easy when he gets the ball.
7 clean sheets in 14 games for him in the Premier League so far this season. Well, a header in field from Cancelo is straight to João Moutinho, and the veteran plays it wide to the right once again. It's back in field towards Neves, and of course Wolves did win here, did the double over Manchester City a couple of seasons ago, and they are one of only 6 teams to have beaten Pep Guardiola here at home in the Premier League, as City look for a penalty once again as Gabriel Jesus is bowled over inside the area, but John Moss gives nothing. Andre Marin of the VAR maybe having a look at that as Aït-Nouri looks to skip away on this near side. He goes down under the challenge of João Cancelo, and nothing is being given.
I think John Moss's whistle's broke, because there's been some quite lively challenges. One there on Jesus in the box. I'm not sure that was a penalty, but there certainly was on Aït-Nouri there quite a tough challenge. and John Moss is just deciding just let play on.
And Aït-Nouri is down, clutching his right ankle, may require some treatment here. Looking at the replay of the previous one, the challenge by Kilman on Jesus, and I'm not too sure there was enough there for a penalty.
I think he was expecting the challenge and it didn't come, whereas if he would have moved the ball quicker, I think he could quite easily have got his shot off. It was a good press by Bernardo Silva, giving the defenders for Wolves no time on the ball, under pressure, dispossessed him. It fell to Jesus. Jesus, for me, should have got his shot off or stayed on the ball and really made the defender come through him if he needed to, and he almost anticipated the contact and went down too easily for me.
Well, the break in play, but Aït-Nouri is back on his feet. João Cancelo is having words now from Pep Guardiola, wearing a very long black bench coat on the edge of the Manchester City technical area. Bruno Lage is also stalking around as well. And he was somebody who was very much under the radar during his previous spell in English football as the assistant to Carlos Carvajal at Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea City. He then returned to Portugal, won the title unexpectedly with Benfica, but that was enough to earn him a move back to England and the Premier League. Here is Sterling now down the right hand side, twisting and turning away from Aït-Nouri, but Aït-Nouri's done well to win the ball back, and he's got support from João Moutinho. His ball in field though was almost cut out before it's volleyed clear by Ruben Neves high up towards the halfway line. 20 minutes played, 0-0, and Manchester City looking to crank up the pressure here.
So important, Neves and Moutinho. The ball retention when they win the ball back, being brave on it. They've got the experience, and up until now, for the opening 20 minutes of the game, they've looked after the ball really well. Some elite touches of the ball to make sure they keep possession, and that's massively important for this Wolves side, just to give the defenders a respite.
Over on TalkSport 2, Huddersfield now lead Coventry by a 0-0. Danny Ward with the opening goal at the John Smith Stadium. Zinchenko has it for City, crossed in from the right hand side, but it was an angle ball in, simple clearance for Kilman, and it's back with Ruben Diaz once again. And at the moment, Wolves have come into this game with a game plan, and although you could throw a blanket over their midfield when they're out of possession, they are doing what they have to do.
They are, and this is like a forwards against attacks game, or a pattern game where you just keep on regenerating the ball to the attacking side and see if they can break the
now
opposing
João Cancelo, right foot shot from him, low trajectory this time, but it bounced into the arms of Jose Sá, who quickly clears downfield. He was looking for Adama Traoré, but he rather sliced the clearance, and it's quickly returned by Zinchenko. Now Sterling coming in field from the right hand side. João Cancelo's ball forward though is cut out well by Aït-Nouri, and he will try and break now with Traoré ahead of him, but Cancelo recovers, makes the challenge once again just in front of us, and that will be a throw into Wolves on this near side.
Yeah, Aït-Nouri didn't need to take a touch there. It was perfect for him on his left hand side. There was a super run to break the line by Adama Traoré. The ball should have gone in behind there. There was enough space between the back line and Ederson for Traoré to get on the end of the ball, and he took a touch, and that just gave the opportunity for a challenge to be made on him. But if he can make them passes when he needs to, I'm sure that's what Bruno Lage would want him to do.
Gundogan has now barged over Jimenez, and it will be a free kick here for Wolves, midway inside the Manchester City half on this near side, their left. 23 minutes played, 0-0. Manchester City have had so much of the ball so far, but very few clear-cut chances. Aït-Nouri with the free kick, flighted in, headed towards goal by Jimenez, but he was off balance. It was a glancing header, and it's 15 yards wide.
Yeah, decent ball. It's quite flat, the trajectory, so it's literally whoever's head it's going to land on. They don't have to do much to get on the end of it. He just couldn't get the right purchase, Jimenez. And like you said, it went about 15 yards wide, and it was probably from about 16 yards out, so no real jeopardy there for Manchester City. But again, don't give free kicks away in dangerous positions, because that just gets Wolves up the pitch and sets them up again to defend the next phase.
City with 63% possession so far, but only one shot on target. We talk about their attacking talents. They've also been defensively very good so far this season. Only 9 conceded in the Premier League. That's level with Chelsea.
I think that's consistent since Ruben Diaz has come to the football club. They've been very
He's
hard.
been the difference, hasn't he?
Huge difference. You know, we talk about Conor Cody, how important he is to this Wolves side. I think Ruben Diaz is very, very important to this Manchester City side as well.
Now Sterling into the penalty area, looked to bear down on the 6-yard box, but Jose Sarr almost just flipped the ball up in the air with his hand and then ran around Sterling to catch it. But it's very tight for Sterling when he tries to break into the area on this near side.
I think any player's going to find that against this Wolves side because they're so disciplined.
Now Traore's been caught by Gundogan. It will be a free kick for Wolves, 10 yards inside their own half in a central area. And Traore is doing his best to try and create some room for Jimenez at the moment.
Well, when he gets the ball to feet, it's very difficult to shake him off because his upper body strength, his stature and his touch are so good, and he's making the ball stick when it comes into him. They just need a few more options off him to build attacks even further down the pitch.
Now Aït-Nouri will find Traore, who chests the ball down, but City try and win it back, but Dendoncker does well to roll Rodri, and Jimenez now has got space for Semedo down the right hand side. Dendoncker waits inside the penalty area. Traore also arriving, but the cross was early, it was deflected, and it's gathered by Gundogan, and this is the opportunity for City to break. Bernardo Silva wide to the right hand side, and Sterling, who can come in field towards the edge of the penalty area. Excellent sliding challenge though, coming in from Ruben Neves to win the ball cleanly, and Wolves now will clear on this near side with Aït-Nouri.
Yeah, good defended by Wolves there, but it's almost when they put bodies forward, that's when they're at their most dangerous against conceding, because they put, I would say, about 4 or 5 players forward there, and straight away on the counter-attack, Manchester City look more dangerous than ever before in this game.
But here is Ruben Diaz once again for Manchester City. 25 minutes played. 0-0 here on Game Day on TalkSport, with Chelsea against Leeds coming up at 3 on TalkSport 2. João Cancelo with a high cross into the penalty area and a looping header towards the byline on this near side by Kilman, but it's kept in play and then cleared downfield by Saiss up towards the halfway line.
Big chance for Grealish there. I thought he rose well. I thought the ball was there to be headed and it just evaded him for some reason. Great cross by Cancelo from the right hand side. Not sure why Grealish didn't head that. Maybe it just looked from this angle it was perfect, but it was nowhere near him. They're playing 6-3, 2 false number 9s at the moment, Wolves, and you know they've got nothing going forward at the moment. Just so disciplined, no real desire to try and carve out opportunities.
Here is Grealish now, looking to break down the left-hand side. He's challenged by Neves, and it will be another corner for Manchester City on the far side.
Well, we know that Wolves are really good at defending corners. They've not conceded this season from a set piece, so can Manchester City be the first team to do that this season?
And this was a regular source of goals against them in the Premier League last season. Only Leeds conceded more from set pieces, but Bruno Lage has clearly worked on something. Gundogan with the in-swinger, Jose Sarr coming through the crowd to fist the ball away. Now Traore midway inside the Wolves half. He's been fouled by Sterling. Sterling can't believe it, but it's a free kick for Wolves. It's currently Manchester City 0, Wolves 0. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Manchester City at 5-1 on, Wolves at 24-1. The draw is 6-1, all thanks to Betfair, where you'll get no cash-out suspensions on match odds and over-under goal markets on football. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Yeah, Wolves just getting a little reaction from the home support at the Etihad, taking their time to take this free kick, which it looked quite a soft one between Raheem Sterling and Traore. Traore won the foul. For me, it didn't look like a foul.
But now Sterling has won it back from Aït-Nouri. Bernardo Silva quickly forward towards Gabriel Jesus, and then there's a horrible collision between Kilman and Ruben Neves, both Wolves players going for the same ball. They clattered into each other. Ruben Neves appears to have come off worst, and the medical team are very quickly on.
Yeah, that's a car crash. Bit of communication. You don't want to see two players like that. It was almost like a 50-50 in the
look
air.
at the blood all over the face of Kilman.
Yeah, horrendous challenge. Not good to see. Hope both players are all right. They'll certainly have to get patched up that's if they're all right, because if there's any kind of concussion, I hope the protocol comes in place and the players substituted, because we don't want to see players continuing with concussion.
Well, I'm sure it will. That's the cue for many people in the Tunnel Club seats around us to head back towards the warmth inside, as both Wolves players are down on the field requiring treatment. Kilman is sat up, but Neves is absolutely flat out, and I'm not sure he's moved too much, although he is moving his arms at the moment. It was a shuddering collision.
Well, you could see it coming, couldn't you, Nigel? As the ball went up in the air, you seen the two Wolves players eyeing it up. One was facing towards his own goal. I think Neves was going to head it back to his goalkeeper, and Kilman was going to clear it, and you can imagine the kind of contact that both heads made. Obviously, Kilman, you can see he's got claret all over his forehead, and he's being looked after now by the medical staff. But still, you're looking at Moutinho, Neves should I say, and he's still lying on the ground. He's bent his knees now. He's being looked after by the medical staff, I think by the Manchester City medical staff.
I think both sets of medical teams went out there.
But it was one of them that you could almost see coming, but there's nothing you can do about it, and not a great sight.
No, and both players will take some time to get back to their feet here. They will try and patch them up. They will also do the protocols as well for concussion. A reminder, Huddersfield leading Coventry by a 1-0 over on TalkSport 2 at the moment. Game Day Live with Dan Windle, live from Anfield with all the goals as they go in, following us here on TalkSport. Over on TalkSport 2, Chelsea against Leeds at 3 o'clock with Ian Danta and Perry Groves. At 5:30 here on TalkSport, Norwich against Manchester United. Lindsay Hipgrave will be in the chair with Sam Matterface and Alvin Martin at Carrow Road. And then on Tuesday, our coverage of the Premier League midweek round starts 7:30 on TalkSport. Brentford against Manchester United. On the TalkSport app at 7:45, it's Norwich against Aston Villa. And on TalkSport 2, back here at the Etihad for Manchester City against Leeds. On Wednesday, on the TalkSport app at 7:30, Brighton against Wolves, Burnley against Watford. On TalkSport 2 at 7:45, it is Palace against Southampton. And here on TalkSport at 8 o'clock, Arsenal against West Ham. And then on Thursday night, if it's on, at 7:30, Leicester against Tottenham on the TalkSport app. Chelsea against Everton will be on TalkSport 2 at 7:45, and at 8 o'clock live from Anfield on TalkSport, it is Liverpool against Newcastle. And two players here, Kilman and Neves, are still on the ground. Kilman is having his head swathed in bandages at the moment, so he looks to be okay to continue, but Neves looks to be in a bad way.
Yeah, and listen, Wolves know all about this procedure. They've experienced it with Raul Jimenez when he had the collision at Arsenal, and David Luiz, and he fractured his skull. So they won't be taking this lightly. They'll be doing the examination properly and making sure the protocol for concussion is executed exactly. For me, looking at it from the outside, 50 metres away from the action, we've got a monitor as well. Neves doesn't look like he could continue, and he is a really important player for them. I just mentioned it to you earlier, Nigel, how him and Moutinho are so important to the retention of the ball when they win it back, and just taking the sting out of the game and the intensity out of the game. And if he is lost to concussion or to be substituted, that'll be a huge blow for this Wolves side.
Well, Kilman is back on his feet now with a headband, and he looks okay to continue. Neves is still down, and it's the Manchester City medical team who are looking at him. He's been very gently lifted back to his feet, and I think they're still going through the concussion protocols there, if he would be allowed to continue anyway, and they're going through that at the moment. In the Women's Super League this morning, 15 minutes to play at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. It is still Reading 1, Chelsea 0. So Chelsea completing a clean sweep from last season with the FA Cup final win over Arsenal last weekend, but they could be dropping points in the title race today. And Ruben Neves has put his Alice band back on, and he looks okay to continue.
That's what you want in positions like this. You want men to want to play, to want
But
to
you
go
also
through.
want sensible measures taken, and it seems they've done that as well.
Absolutely, Nigel. They took the time. What was that, 5 minutes break, making sure that he's okay. He stayed on the ground for a considerable amount of that time, but he looks to be moving fine. And you know, that's an easy excuse for a player when they've had a bang of heads to get out of a game if you don't fancy it. He's shown that he's up for this fight, and he wants to help his Wolves teammates try and get a result from this game at the Etihad.
34 minutes played, 0-0. I would imagine we will have 4 or 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half following that collision. But both players are back on their feet and back in the action. Kilman with the headband, and Neves looks to be okay. I'm not sure there was any blood spilt for Ruben Neves.
Got a harder head, hasn't he?
Well, I think he may be nursing 1 or 2 bruises tomorrow morning.
100%. I had a similar situation. I'd gone into the near post, span out to go to the far post and ran into Frank Lampard, and I think I knocked one of his teeth out. It was a horrendous injury, but you just don't like to see that, 2 players coming to blows like that.
No, but it's good to see that they're okay as Rodri plays it wide to the far side. Zinchenko gathers. Now Grealish, who has been quiet in the game so far, only 1 Premier League goal for him so far this season against Norwich back in August. And it's swept wide on this near side by Rodri to find Cancelo again. The Wolves have just retained their defensive shape, although Joao Moutinho runs it out of play on this near side, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester City.
Ironic cheers from the City fans.
The linesman originally gave it the other way. Sterling now comes away from the challenge of Saiss, and Saiss has gone down clutching his face. The cross though from Sterling has been blocked by Cody, and now Sterling not happy about the way Saiss has gone down, and words have been exchanged, and Rodri has come over to speak with Saiss, and very quickly players from both sides are involved in a situation which was nothing to do with them.
Yeah, listen, Manchester City have got no reason to be over Saïs's body there. You know, he may have took a nail in the eye. Saiss may be 100% injured. Leave him. Let the medical staff deal with it. There's no need to go around him. I know what's happened. There's an individual battle. He's probably tried to grab.
He was caught in the face accidentally, but he was caught in the face.
But he's caught in the face because, and there is a problem. There is a problem. I think he must have caught his eye. And the problem is that both players were dueling. He was trying to grab Raheem Sterling from behind. Raheem Sterling's flung his arm to say, "Get off me," and he's caught him in the eye. It's a serious injury. It could be a serious injury. Manchester City players have got no. They shouldn't be anywhere near the player on the ground, and they are, and they've just confused the whole situation.
Well, now the overworked medical team are back on the field again. Connor Cody is having words with John Moss. Rodri is being called across towards the referee as well, and really he was the instigator of what happened afterwards, because Sterling had words with Saiss, and then Rodri came barrelling in from nowhere, and that's what kicked everything off.
Yeah, listen, I don't think John Moss has helped the situation, because he's let a few challenges that I thought
for both
sides. So he's encouraged this kind of combative game that we're seeing now, and actually Rodri has got no right to go anywhere near Saiss on the ground, because what does he know? He doesn't know if it's a serious injury. And actually, looking at the player when he rolled around on the pitch, it was obvious there was something seriously wrong. He'd been caught in the eye.
Well, there's no doubt that Saiss was caught. There was no intent from Sterling. Saiss is now back on his feet, and City will be about to take a corner. And you're listening to Manchester City against Wolves on TalkSport with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Hundreds of branches, usually only 15 minutes away. Find yours now. And Saiss is just blinking into the daylight as he gets back to his feet. And they're applying some eye drops. At the moment, the City fans around that incident are giving him absolute dog's abuse, but he was injured.
Of course he was. You know, and the fans are going to do that, but as a player you've got a responsibility to make sure that you're not getting in the way of any kind of medical procedure that might need to take place, or intervention from the medical staff.
Grealish with the corner, high to the far post, flicked on by Laporte and wide.
Massive chance.
7 yards out, and he puts his hands to his head because he knows it was a great chance.
Huge chance. Head the ball. It's there to be headed. You've got wrong side of your player. I actually feel is it Ruben Diaz who slung himself across him, may have just put him off, but still expect him to miss it and put your head in a position where you're going to get a good contact on it. It was a bit of a waste that for Manchester City.
Boos for Saiss as he clears downfield, and then Traore bumps off Ruben Diaz on this near side, but then the ball bounces away from his considerable frame, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester City. 38 minutes played. We will have bags of added time at the end of the first half here on TalkSport, but it's still 0-0.
And Bruno Lage will be happy with this display. You know, you look at the clear-cut chances, 0. Manchester City have had 0 clear-cut chances. They've had 1 shot on target, and it's been relatively comfortable for the back line. They've not really offered a threat going the other way, but it's become a little bit of a niggly game, and this is exactly the way that you can level out the difference in talent on both sides. Make it a niggly game, make it a game where it's not free-flowing, and that's exactly what Wolves have done. Fair play.
Now Kilman cuts out a ball from Grealish. Traore looking to roll the challenge of Ruben Diaz, and he's been fouled, and Diaz receives a yellow card.
Yeah, wrong side. Never needed to make the challenge, went to ground. For me, it's an easy one, but I'm glad John Moss has done that. You know, because there was too many fouls that were taking place that were not really being punished, and now he's got his yellow card out. Hopefully the players will calm down and realise they've got to defend properly. Good atmosphere though.
It is. The crowd are suddenly in the game here. It was rather quiet for the first half hour or so as the conditions don't help. Very cold, grey and damp as the free kick is guided back by Laporte towards Ederson, who has barely touched the ball in the first half, but it's been that sort of game, although it must be said that Jose Sarr has been very well protected by the Wolves defenders as well.
Yeah, defended superbly well. Really compact, discussing it, you know, the communication between the back line has been great, and everybody's sticking to task. They've got a good team spirit here, Wolves.
Now Gabriel Jesus sprays a pass wide to this near side, taken down on the chest by João Cancelo, forward towards Sterling down the right. Bernardo Silva in the vicinity, so too is João Cancelo. But Wolves are doing a very good job of blocking off all the avenues of opportunities here. 41 minutes played, and still a blank score sheet here at the Etihad Stadium on game day on TalkSport as Sterling plays it wide towards this near side, and Cancelo again, and now Sterling I think was looking for the 1-2 with Grealish, but he's been bowled over by Cody, and it will be a free kick for City in a good area, a couple of yards outside the penalty area down the right hand side.
Yeah, good reaction from City, little ticky-tacky passes, getting into good areas down this right hand side with Raheem Sterling and Cancelo and Bernardo. The ball went into the feet of Grealish, who was barged over from behind by, I think it was Conor Cody, and it's a free kick in a pretty dangerous area, just maybe 4 or 5 yards outside the edge of the 18-yard box on the right hand side.
3 minutes to play in the first half. Gundogan and Grealish are over the free kick. Grealish could go for goal here, left-footed potentially, or Gundogan could use him as the decoy, which he does. Gundogan's free kick headed away by Jimenez, and then Ait Nouri with a clearance which is sliced across his own penalty area, nodded back in field by Rodri, and then boomed away by João Moutinho. Taken down well by Traore midway inside the Wolves half, and he just shoulders off Cancelo again. Wide to this near side looking for Saiss. Now João Moutinho, the booze for Saiss again, all a bit unnecessary. Traore with his back to goal does well to ride the challenge of Rodri, then goes down. Rodri clips him, and Rodri is also booked.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration. It was an unbelievable first touch by Adama Traore, almost like an overhead kick to bring the ball down. Got the ball under control, used his backside to back into Rodri, turned him really well with a little drag back, and then petulance again by Rodri. Frustrated because he couldn't win the ball, he just kicked out, flicked out, and it's a yellow card, and it's probably the right decision from John
Pep
Moss.
Guardiola was absolutely livid about that, turned around dramatically and implored Martin Atkinson to clarify the decision for him, and the conversation went on for some time. Here is João Moutinho finding Ait Nouri on this near side. Now Neves, who looks to be okay following the clash of heads with Kilman. Saiss all the way back to Jose Sarr, and we have 90 seconds of normal time to play, but there will be a very large portion of added time here at the Etihad Stadium. A couple of lengthy stoppages for treatment for Wolves players. as Laporte heads it forward for City again. Wolves try and clear, but Zinchenko nods it into the path of Gundogan on this near side. Now Grealish back towards Gundogan again. Low cross in is deflected. Cody does well on the stretch to arch the neck muscles and head the ball behind for a corner.
Intensity that Manchester City are putting under for Wolves now is incredible. They're getting the ball down. You can see they've been annoyed by this opening 40 minutes of the game, and they're getting on the ball, the little triangles, getting the triangles going, 1 and 2 touch passing, and you can see they've got the bit between the teeth that they want to try and score this opening goal.
Grealish with the corner high into the penalty area, flicked away by Jimenez towards this near side. Now Gabriel Jesus, and the high ball in again will be cleared by Saiz into the path of Gabriel Jesus, who used his hand to control it, and it will be a free kick for Wolves. And Gabriel Jesus is belittling the assistant on this near side, and he handled the ball.
It looked like his arm went towards the ball. I can't tell because it was at the other side of us. We were back to play, but yeah, frustration there. They've got to stay calm, Manchester City, because this is playing into the hands of Wolves. His tactics frustrate this Manchester City side. Don't let any gaps develop, and it did look like he put his right arm towards the ball. So 7 minutes.
7 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here, and that's no real surprise because we have had so much treatment for players. Of course, the long stoppage for the clash of heads as Wolves try and bring it forward now, but they've given the ball away again on this near side, and Ruben Diaz will use the support of Laporte. And at the moment Manchester City just finding it hard to find their rhythm here. I don't think the delays have helped them, but now a free kick's been given for Jimenez sliding in on Rodri, and the yellow card's been shown, and Bruno Lage is absolutely furious now, and I think he's making the point that that's only a yellow card because of the yellow cards that were shown to the City players.
Well, no, I think he pulled him back. I don't think it was for the sliding tackle. He pulled him back initially. Jimenez pulled Rodri back initially to then be able to get the sliding tackle, and I think that's what the yellow card's for. And it's the right, again, you know, I know there's a lot of noise.
Now Jimenez got in the way of the free kick. He's going to be booked again here. Raul Jimenez is going to get a second yellow card, and he's off. 2 yellows in the space of 30 seconds for Raul Jimenez. He blocked the taking of the free kick, and that is mindless from Wolves' number 9. And John Moss had no option. It's a second yellow card, and Wolves are down to 10 men. And we talk about Manchester City playing without a number 9. So are Wolves. Raul Jimenez has been sent off.
100% the right decision. I'm not sure what Jimenez is doing. He's just been booked. He's 100% a yellow card because he pulls Rodri back after being wrong side of him, then slides the sliding tackle. The sliding tackle was fine. It's the pullback initially which gave him the opportunity to take that yellow card, and then from there he didn't walk away from the ball. He stood over the ball. Manchester City were waiting.
Idiotic thing to do if you're on a yellow
Bruno
card.
Lage. I mean,
he's 2 yards away from the ball and he blocks the free kick.
As much as the coaching staff, I can see Tony Roberts there, who's the goalkeeping coach. I was at QPR with him. Bruno Lage, as much as they remonstrate, Raul Jimenez has let his side down there by doing something.
It's a yellow card in any area of the pitch.
Absolutely.
Irrespective of whether you've had a yellow card 30 seconds earlier.
I do think, though, the catalyst to all this is John Moss letting too many decisions go early on in the game where it was clearly a foul, and with this new Premier League ruling where you want it to be a little bit more contact in games and let a few challenges go that are not fouls, I feel John Moss has been the instigator of this.
Well, Raul Jimenez throws his headband to the floor in disgust, and he's frustrated, I think, with himself because he knows what he's done, and he's left his team short-handed here. He then turns to applaud the Wolves fans who reciprocate that, and he looks absolutely distraught, Raul Jimenez.
He'll be gutted. He'll look back at that. You know,
what a soft red card.
3 or 4 seconds of head loss, and all of a sudden he's left his teammates with a man short.
Well, We were about 2 minutes into added time when that happened. We can now add on another 2 minutes. Ruben Neves was also booked in the aftermath of that, and it's still 0-0, but it's not been dull by any means.
It's not been a classic though, has it? You know, you talk about the quality of football. It's not been great. I think, you know, that is the game plan of Wolves. They know man for man they can't compete with Manchester City and the stars that they've got in the team. So they've made it this kind of game, and in the end, they're the ones who've fallen foul of it, really, because they've let themselves get emotionally attached to it and done something very silly.
Well, City looking to press now, so Wolves will just drop everybody back behind the ball. Traore will be the only attacking threat now, if they can just get the ball anywhere near him, as João Moutinho and Aït-Nouri indulge in a spot of head tennis inside their own penalty area. It's then cleared away wide to this near side, and Bernardo Silva again. We have played nearly 5 minutes of added time in the first half. It's still 0-0 here on Game Day on TalkSport, but Raúl Jiménez dismissed for 2 yellow cards in the space of a minute. Zinchenko with a low cross into the penalty area. Bernardo Silva looking to turn, and now it's Gundogan with a shot. It was deflected, possibly off of Raheem Sterling, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, good build-up play down the left-hand side. Decent ball into the box, low and hard by Zinchenko. It found its way through, probably around the penalty spot. Gundogan trying to get it onto his left foot, lays it off. Gundogan comes onto the ball, should do better. I think the layoff's probably a little bit lively when it lands at his feet, but take a touch, settle the ball and have another touch. He's dragged it wide, terribly wide, and harmlessly for a goal kick for Wolves. Need cool heads now, Manchester City. You know, this game's got quite emotional, both sides. If they stay calm, move the ball well, work the socks off this 10-men Wolves side, I'm sure they're going to be able to create openings. And if they can't, you look at the bench, we spoke about it earlier, Nigel, they've got plenty of creativity on that bench to come off and maybe change the game.
Now Zinchenko for Manchester City on the far side as we head towards the 52nd minute of the first half here. Still 0-0 on TalkSport. A match which was delayed twice for lengthy injury stoppages for Wolves players, and then Raúl Jiménez sent off for 2 yellow cards in the space of a minute, the second of which was for not retreating at a free kick. Now Bernardo Silva down the line for João Cancelo, and it bounces off Saiss, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester City in front of the area of the Etihad Stadium, which has been readied for safe standing. If and when that happens, as Ruben Neves tangles with Sterling on the edge of the area, he then goes down. Neves is now thumping the ground with his fist, but John Moss is allowing play to continue. Wolves want a stoppage here. A back heel from Jesus. Grealish with a cross in, and appeals for handball against Kilman as it's diverted into the arms of Jose Sá. And Neves is still down here, so Jose Sá, rather like a rugby league player, just thumps the ball into touch on the far side to allow Neves to receive some treatment.
Listen, it's not a serious injury. I think Manchester City were well within their right to continue playing on there, even though Neves was down. It looks like he might have a little twinge on his knee or something. It's not a serious injury. Wolves have got to keep their head this time. There looks like there may be a VAR call. I'm not sure. It looked like Kilman leaned over with his arm. His arm was by his side, but he certainly moved his arm towards the ball. I'm not sure VAR is looking at it, but Manchester City fans and players had a big shout there for a penalty. I don't think they're going to get it.
No, plays continue. Gundogan sportingly has given the ball back, and John Moss has blown the half-time whistle, which I think is for the good of everybody at the moment. We had 53 minutes in the first half, no goals, no real clear-cut chances, but bags of incident, a horrible clash of heads between Ruben Neves and Max Kilman, both players able to continue. We also had another injury for Romain Saiss, caught in the face by Raheem Sterling accidentally inside the penalty area. And then just before half-time, Raúl Jiménez receiving a yellow card for a pullback in the centre circle. He then failed to retreat at the free kick, was shown another yellow card. He was dismissed. Wolves are down to 10 men, and at half-time it is Manchester City 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Thank you, Reshman. 0-0 at half-time. A first half which seemed to go on and on and on, and right at the end of it we had the controversy, the red card for Raúl Jiménez, 2 yellow cards in quick succession, the second one of which was for kicking the ball away at a free kick as Gabriel Jesus gathers for City inside the area, turns and shoots, and it's well wide in the end, but it took a deflection on the way, and City have a corner right at the start of the second half.
Yeah, good start by Manchester City, good ball into the box. Jesus got it under control, got it onto his left foot, shot deflected.
Corner is played short. Zinchenko square to Cancelo onto the right foot, but he's forced wide and finds Sterling. I'll give you the two teams again in a second. Sterling in towards Bernardo Silva. It's taken a deflection and it's gathered by Jose Sarr underneath the crossbar. So the City team, Ederson in goal, Cancelo, Laporte, Diaz and Zinchenko the back four, Gundogan, Rodri and Bernardo Silva in midfield, Sterling, Grealish and Jesus in attack. Wolves of course now down to 10 men. It is Jose Sarr in goal, Kilman, Cody and Saiss the back three, Semedo and Aït-Nouri the wing backs, Neves, Dendoncker and Moutinho in midfield. Traore is basically the attack. Sterling with a cross in, headed away at the near post again by Cody. A further flick cleared by Saiss, and it will be a throw into City on the far side as people begin to retake their seats after half-time here on what is now a grey, fairly cheerless day at the Etihad Stadium. The first half rain seems to have eased though, as it's given away by Zinchenko straight to Dendoncker. Now Traore is all on his own, but he takes them all on, and Traore continues up towards the edge of the area. Zinchenko with the challenge, he then plays it back towards Ederson, and he sweeps it wide to the far side again.
Yeah, he got caught in possession there, a little bit sloppy from Zinchenko, but he did well to get back in and clear his mess that he'd made up by challenging Traore and winning the ball back. Manchester City already, you can just sense it, they're having a lot more possession in that final third, and they've already created one or two different situations so early in the second half.
Now it's played forward towards Sterling, first time cross into the penalty area, and it's blocked at the near post by Cody, and it will be another Manchester City corner at the start of the second half, and the die seems to have been cast in this game.
What do you think Pep said at half time, because it looks like they've had a bit of a dressing down.
Here is the corner, hung up high to the far post, João Cancelo looking for Rodri, and then a curling shot through the crowd from Laporte on the edge of the area, and once again it's deflected behind, and it's a corner. If anything, they just needed to move the ball a bit quicker in the first half, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's going to be made easier playing against 10 men, but this is the third corner, what we're on, 48 minutes, third corner in the first 3 minutes of the second half, so they've started how they intend to go on, and I think it'd be amazing if Wolves can get through this game without conceding.
Another corner for Gundogan, headed away though unchallenged at the near post by Semedo, and Gundogan has not quite got his radar right so far today. Now João Cancelo square again towards Rodri, one of two City players booked just before Jimenez received two yellows in quick succession. Aït-Nouri though challenging Rodri, and it's corner number 4 for City in the opening 4 minutes of the second half. And looking back on the red card in the first half, we'll do that in a second, as the corner was played short to Cancelo by Gundogan. Gundogan now finding Rodri again, another high cross to the far post. Gabriel Jesus is there, he's able to control 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side. He'll take on Kilman. Kilman though blocks the cross, and it's hoofed away over the shoulder by Ruben Neves up to the halfway line. Adama Traore is looking to win it back from 3 City players. Zinchenko though comes away with it, and here is Sterling square to the far side, and Bernardo Silva checks back in field onto the right foot. Zinchenko on the edge of the area, another high hanging cross is deflected. Kilman looking to guide the ball away, only finds Grealish, so congested on the edge of the area, so a long range shot is fired in by Rodri, and it's blocked by João Moutinho, and City will build again here with Diaz. Now Cancelo down the right, looking to take on Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri goes to ground, makes the challenge, and it's a 5th corner for Manchester City within the opening 5 minutes of the second half.
We started well. Raheem Sterling's impressed me, 1-2s, running past players, having a real zip and intensity about his game. He looks like he's desperate to get that 100th goal of his Premier League career, and you wouldn't bet against him.
Corner is played short. Back to João Cancelo once again, threaded into the box, looking for Gundogan, who was the taker. It breaks towards Grealish, back out towards Zinchenko. Wolves have everybody back. Zinchenko transfers it wide towards João Cancelo, whipped into the near post. Another corner, inevitably off the head of Dendoncker this time.
relentless. They're moving the ball about really quickly. It's that much more difficult though with a man less for Wolves, and that's when you start seeing the seriousness and how important it was that Raúl Jiménez made that silly decision to not back off the ball when it was a free kick and got himself a second yellow card.
He's such an important player in both penalty areas as well. Zinchenko,
good move,
square towards Sterling.
John Moss that was, moving
just
out
had
the
to
way.
sway out of the way there, almost nutmegged. But he was a central character in the first half for so many reasons. Now Bernardo Silva again, but City having to work very hard here to try and create the space. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne is on the bench. He could be an option if it remains goalless for too much longer, as a cross in from Sterling is cleared only as far as Bernardo Silva. That familiar shuffle to the left, and now Sterling finding Grealish inside the area, left-hand side. First time cross headed away by Cody. Play back out wide towards Sterling again on the left. Grealish was looking for the early pass. It's infield, cleared by Kilman, but it breaks for Grealish now, who was around the back momentarily. Grealish now back towards Gundogan again, and Wolves are so deep here, but they are so hard to break down. 51 minutes played in this match on TalkSport on game day, and it's 0-0 here, and Wolves at the moment are performing a masterclass in deep defending.
They are, but you look at how much they're having to run to try and put pressure on the ball, stop the ball coming into the box from dangerous areas. They're having to work tirelessly hard, and I just feel that this is going to fatigue them so much that later on in this half they're going to be struggling to keep a clean sheet.
João Cancelo with a cross into the penalty area, volleyed towards goal at the near post by Gabriel Jesus, and it's a goal kick, and the pressure is relieved for a few moments for Wolves, and Jose Sá is strolling around the back of the goal. He is going to take all the time in the world here, and this will be a major feature of the second half here on TalkSport. Wolves down to 10 men, and the general consensus at half-time, Trevor, seemed to be that the first yellow could have been a bit harsh, but the second one there was no excuse.
Yeah, I mean, my interpretation of the first yellow was early on, as Rodri got wrong side of Jimenez, he pulled him back, which enabled him to then get goal side and make the sliding tackle, which I didn't think was a.
Here is Sterling now with an electrifying burst into the area. He goes down, and a goal kick has been given. I think for a moment some City fans thought that John Moss was pointing to the penalty spot. Two Wolves players converged on Raheem Sterling, and nothing is being given. And once again Wolves are taking as long as they can here with the restart. Cody launches it long downfield, and it will come straight back. If they don't find Traoré, there is nobody else anywhere near the ball for Wolves. Now Semedo back towards Kilman again. 53 minutes played at the Etihad Stadium here on TalkSport. 0-0. Manchester City have had so many chances, so many corners in this game, but Wolves are standing firm at the moment. But they will play the whole of the second half with 10 men.
Yeah, looking after the ball again there. Neves, Moutinho, showing good bravery on the ball, good technical ability. Just taking the sting out of this opening 10 minutes, because Manchester City have already had 6 corners and created a lot of opportunities.
Phil Foden will be on very shortly, so Pep Guardiola has clearly seen enough.
That's the kind of play you need, you know, in these tight areas. You're not going to have a lot of room or space to work in. You couldn't have a better player than Phil Foden.
Now Grealish with a low ball threaded in from the far side. It's been blocked. Kilman now will try and deal with Grealish on this near side again. It's Gundogan finding Rodri once again, square to João Cancelo. A high cross in, Jose Sá has lost it, headed towards goal by Gundogan, and headed off the line by Conor Cody. Inches in that. Now Zinchenko again with a cross in, met by Semedo. There seemed to be a foul there by Gabriel Jesus on Saiz, and a free kick's been given, but Conor Cody to the rescue for Wolves yet again.
Yeah, brilliant defending by Conor Cody. It was initially a fantastic ball in. The keeper was in no man's land, didn't know whether to come for it, got caught in no man's land. It's a header on target by Gundogan. It looks like it's going in, but that's what leaders do, that's what top defenders do. They get themselves between the ball and the goal and stop it going into the goal, and it's a great on-the-line clearance by Conor Cody to keep this game 0-0.
Phil Foden coming on for Ilkay Gundogan. So
interesting.
Foden taking a place as part of the central midfield trio behind Grealish, Jesus and Sterling.
And Diaz goes captain because Gundogan was captain. He's given the armband to Ruben Diaz.
He'll be the captain here for years, won't he?
You would imagine so. I mean, they speak so highly of him at the football club, the impact that he's had here, and you see the amount of clean sheets that they keep.
Kevin De Bruyne and Riyad Mahrez are also warming up. And now Conor Cody's in conversation with John Moss again, who is just trying to calm things down here after such a tetchy end to the first half.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit, John Moss, I thought, today. Just dealing with the players, with the egos. Yeah, he set the tone.
By not giving free kicks.
Absolutely. We spoke about that, Nigel, and some of the challenges should have been deemed free kicks. He lets play go on, and all of a sudden everyone's waded into everyone, and you've got this situation scenario that we've got on our hands now.
Free kick for Wolves. They don't play it long. And now Cody, who could be such an important player here for Wolves in the final half hour or so of this game, guides it back towards Jose Sarr. 56 minutes played. 0-0 here on Game Day on TalkSport. We're live from Anfield with Dan Windle with all the goals as they go in Game Day Live following this game. Over on TalkSport 2, big game at the Bridge. Chelsea against Leeds, with Norwich against Manchester United here on TalkSport, followed by Game Day Your Verdict at 5:30. And every single Premier League commentary coming up this week between Tuesday and Thursday will be live across the TalkSport network. Now Foden with that upright running style finds Grealish infield again towards Foden, who holds off Kilman, plays it square to Rodri. Now Cancelo, another high ball wide to the far side, crossed in by Bernardo Silva, cleared as far as Zinchenko with a right foot volley, and he didn't really get hold of it, bobbled it into the ground, and it's gathered by Jose Sarr.
Yeah, comfortable save in the end, but great little bit of play straight away. The way that Phil Foden received that ball added a little bit of speed about that attack, and in the end it was a comfortable save by the goalkeeper. But again, Manchester City knocking on the door, literally all the possession in this half up to now, and just creating chance after chance. It's inevitable, surely, that they're going to get a breakthrough.
Here is Sterling now on the far side. Good challenge though by Aït-Nouri, who's really grown into the game, but having said that, is now giving the ball away to João Cancelo. He receives it back from Sterling, fizzes in the cross, it's beaten away at the near post by Jose Sarr from a standing position, but Wolves are able to clear. Now Traoré on the far side, heavily outnumbered whenever he wins the ball, and he's lost out on this occasion to Aymeric Laporte. And City have it again with João Cancelo finding Sterling, but Wolves here are packing the penalty area, and they are working so hard to restrict the opportunities for City, but that's a very difficult thing to do. Here is Sterling back towards Zinchenko. The cross is hung up to the far post. It's nodded down, but into the arms of Jose Sarr by Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, they were queuing up at the far post. It's a really well worked move by Manchester City. He goes out wide to Grealish, he knocks it inside to Zinchenko, puts the ball in, outswinger, the keeper can't get anywhere near it. They're queuing up at the far post. It's just that execution. It was from an angle, maybe it would have been better served going back centrally and hoping for a runner to go into the middle of the pitch, but comfortable save there by Jose Sarr.
One-way traffic though. 59 minutes played. City come forward again. Now Bernardo Silva deep into the penalty area, and it's scrambled clear at the near post and cleared away by Aït-Nouri. Still Huddersfield 1, Coventry 0 over on TalkSport 2 at the moment, and a result from the Women's Super League, and a real surprise. Chelsea losing for the second time this season, 1-0 at Reading. Now Sterling challenged by Aït-Nouri inside the penalty area, looked to be looking for it. Aït-Nouri tries to pick up Sterling, who doesn't appreciate that, but it's a goal kick.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a foul. I thought it was great defending by Aït-Nouri. You know, you can see that Raheem Sterling's quicker than him. He just leans into him a little bit. It's not enough for me. And when you're running at that pace, you do go over. I think there's probably a little bit of a coming together between Aït-Nouri's right thigh and Raheem Sterling's left thigh, which helps him go over and not get the cross into the box or shot, but not enough for a penalty. And Manchester City just need to keep on probing away, moving the ball quickly, being patient, keeping that mentality, not getting frustrated, and if they do that, they'll give themselves a better chance of making this breakthrough.
Sterling back towards João Cancelo. And you're listening to Manchester City against Wolves on TalkSport with Now. And don't forget, with a Now Sports Day membership, you can stream all the Sky Sports action, including Norwich against Man United, live today for $9.99, just $9.99, without a contract. Search Now Sports. Grealish, infield again towards Rodri. Square to João Cancelo, fires in the shot, it's blocked again inside the area. Wolves clear through Ruben Neves. It's held up momentarily by Traoré. Now Traoré links up with Dendoncker, and Traoré sprints away from the challenge of Laporte. He's wide on this near side and then looks up and sees there is nobody anywhere near him in a black shirt, so it's back to Semedo, and then Kilman goes all the way back to Jose Sarr. Yeah, sorry Trevor, looking at the crosses going in for City, they put in so many balls, but because they're already there waiting for it, nobody's attacking it, are they? Yeah,
I think the movement and the second phase movement has got to be better. You know, they're in there. If you're stood still in the box, you're easy to mark. So if you're in there too early, make a secondary movement, spin out of that area, let somebody go and attack that area, and then I think you'll see Manchester City will start coming onto the ball rather than the ball being caught under him, or it's easy for one of the Wolves players to get tight to him and mark him out of that situation.
Hwang Hee-chan will be on shortly for Wolves, the South Korean international. 61 minutes played here. Still Manchester City 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. I'm sure that Liverpool fans heading to Anfield and Chelsea fans on their way to Stamford Bridge will be very interested in proceedings here, and at the moment Wolves are standing firm even with 10 men. Zinchenko back towards Rodri, and Rodri almost stumbles as he passes it square to João Cancelo. He in turn only finds Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri though lifted it towards Traoré, not the sort of ball needed in the circumstances. City have it back. Rodri wide to the far side, and Sterling again. Sterling looking to attack Aït-Nouri, but the cross is blocked by Saiss at the near post, and it's yet another corner.
Yeah, good defending again. Looked like he was going to come down the left hand side. It was switched to the right to Raheem Sterling. He gets at his man Aït-Nouri again, gets half a yard, but Aït-Nouri stuck to his task really well.
Foden swings in the corner looking for Bernardo Silva, headed away though by Saiss, but City have it back. Here is Foden again, finding Bernardo Silva. The cross was blocked by João Moutinho. Appeals for a penalty, and handball has been given against João Moutinho. The arm did seem to be raised, and John Moss this time has put it to the spot.
Yep, his arm went up. I'm not sure whether it hit him on the armpit or the arm. We're just going to look for the monitor to see the replay. The initial thing was, you're looking at the reaction from Moutinho. He's remonstrating. He believes.
Oh, that's armpit, isn't it?
Looks like it's his armpit, but whether that touches the lower arm on his tricep area at the same time, I don't know. But VAR will certainly look at it. Yeah, I think it's his arm. Just the momentum of his arm going on top of the ball. I think there's certainly contact. I don't think this is going to be overturned.
Andre Mariner is at Stockley Park. He is today's VAR official, and it's whether it's the movement from the arm onto the side of the body, or whether it's gone directly onto the armpit. And they're watching from the far side, which tells them absolutely nothing at all.
I think either way, Nigel, whether it's the armpit first and the arm comes down onto it, his arm's in an unnatural position there.
But if it strikes another part of his body first, it can't be a penalty.
Okay.
But it's from that angle it looks like it hits him on the side of the body, then up onto the arm.
Interesting one. For me, the arm always looked like it was going to...
Yeah,
he was covering the ball with his arm.
Yeah.
And I think the intention was there, so for me, I think this penalty will stand.
Wolves are still waiting to make their change. I think Adama Traoré will be the player who is withdrawn, and João Moutinho is making it absolutely clear that it struck him on the armpit, and they are still looking at this, and I wonder if John Moss will be invited to have a look as well. Well, the penalty's been given. Wolves are furious, but after so much toil in this game, Manchester City have the opportunity to take the lead. And it's Raheem Sterling who will take the penalty, looking for his 100th Premier League goal. What a moment this could be for Raheem Sterling. And it's a very important moment anyway for Manchester City. Raheem Sterling up against Jose Sa. Sterling steps up right-footed, calmly down the middle. A century of Premier League goals for Raheem Sterling, and a priceless one for Manchester City in what was turning into a very difficult afternoon. Raheem Sterling has finally broken the deadlock. Wolves believe it's a controversial goal, but it's Manchester City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
Wow, for his 100th goal to stay so calm. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, side-footed it to the right-hand side. The goalkeeper went to his left. It's a fantastic goal for him to score 100 goals. He joins an elite small group of players that have scored 100 goals in the Premier League. He almost goes down the centre, doesn't he, Nigel? Brilliant for him.
Jose Sa had stayed where he was.
He was so frustrated throughout the whole of this 65 minutes. Aït-Nouri stuck to his task really well. He's looked a frustrated figure with the referee's decisions at times, but when the time came and he needed to keep his composure, he did that superbly well. 1-0 to Manchester City, 100 goals to Raheem Sterling. What a player he's been.
Well, Wolves are still furious. João Moutinho was making it absolutely clear that the free kick, or rather the penalty, should not have been given, but the situation has been made clear, and Manchester City lead here by 1-0. And what do Wolves do now, Trev?
Well, I think they don't want to get smashed, do they? They don't want to get beaten 3 or 4-0 because they've not conceded a lot of goals this season. I don't think they'll change too much, but they may be a little bit more expansive, leaving maybe 1 or 2 players up and asking the lads to climb mountains really and keep Manchester City out for the rest of this game.
We'll be getting headline team news, some other big games in the Premier League coming up very shortly, but first of all, Manchester City looking for their second goal here. Grealish on the left hand side, looking to go beyond Semedo. It's back towards Rodri, and Wolves, I suppose, just need to try and stay in the game for as long as they can and maybe give it a go in the final 5 minutes or something. Here is Foden tricking away from the challenge of Saiss, and now back in field again towards Sterling. 100 Premier League goals in 303 appearances, which is a pretty good average for somebody who has had times when he's found goals difficult to come by.
Yeah, I think we've all mentioned at times with his the way that he finishes, he should be more clinical. But I think as you get older, you get more clinical, and he's shown that there. 100 goals, nothing to be sniffed at. It's a great return from 300 and odd Premier League games. What's that? 1 in 3, 1 goal in 3 games. You know, for a winger, he's not a striker. I think that's a fantastic return, and I think it tells you a lot about him. You know, he has many disappointments on the pitch, but he always has that bounce back ability where he's going to show great courage and get in the same positions again. And 1 out of 3, superb.
So 1-0 to Manchester City here, and Jack Grealish has just missed an absolute sitter here to make it 2-0. It was a great ball in from the right hand side from Raheem Sterling, and Grealish 6 yards out at the far post lifted the ball over the top. Yeah,
it's a big chance. I think just with the zip of the pitch, the ball came in. It was a great cross, nice and early by Raheem Sterling. It's just bounced at an awkward position for Grealish, and he didn't read that bounce. Really, he should have just tried to cover the ball, push it into the ground, and you probably score. He's tried to just pass it into the back of the net, gets underneath it, and it goes hopelessly over the bar. He'll be disappointed with that, because a lot of people have spoke about his record since he's got to Manchester City. Only 1 Premier League goal, and he would like to have added to that, and that was a big chance.
And we'll get team news shortly from Stamford Bridge, our TalkSport 2 commentary between Chelsea and Leeds, as Manchester City lead here by 1-0, a penalty from Raheem Sterling. 100 Premier League goals for him. It was also the 499th Premier League goal for Manchester City under Pep Guardiola.
Wow. He's only been here 2 minutes.
205 games.
Wow. Phenomenal.
Well, they've had some pretty big scorelines in recent years, haven't they?
Yep, they earn them.
Here is Grealish on this near side. Infield again towards Zinchenko, but it's cut out by Kilman, wearing the headband following the clash of heads with Ruben Neves in the first half. But the ball again is given away by Wolves when they've had the opportunity to try and attack, and Sterling again is away down the right, pulls it back for Grealish. He goes for a backheel, it breaks to Bernardo Silva. Good save by Jose Sarr, blocking with his legs. Now Gabriel Jesus again, and it's Silva, a low cross in from him, blocked by Kilman. The final touch was off the Wolves man, and it's behind for a corner.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling's been brilliant. You know, he's kept at it, he's not had it all his own way, and at times he's been frustrated, but he keeps on getting into positions.
Now the cross in from Zinchenko, and on the stretch it is put over the top, but it was deflected behind, and it's yet another corner.
Wow.
Which Foden will take. It was Ruben Diaz who was still forward, challenging forward, but Wolves did just enough at the far post.
Well, what's the point in being back? You're looking at nine men behind the ball, plus the goalkeeper. They've got no threat whatsoever.
Corner played in by Foden. Diaz was rising, but it's headed away by Saiss. Caicedo now back towards Bernardo Silva, and it was swooped on initially by Jose Sarr, but he failed to make contact. Semedo, though, will bring the ball clear, knock it off Diaz, and it will be a throw-in to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Trailing by a goal to nil here with 18 minutes to play, and Kevin De Bruyne will now be coming on to replace Jack Grealish.
Yeah, he's been okay. He's moved the ball well. The big chance there that just came his way from a Raheem Sterling cross. He'll be kicking himself tonight that he didn't finish that. But in general, it's been a steady performance. It's been a really difficult game for him to get into, as it has for all the Manchester City forwards, because of this resilient, compact mentality and work ethic that Wolves have got. But again, you can hear it from the fans. He's still a big favourite. You know, he's got a lot of improving and growth to do at this football club.
Come forward again now. It has been complete one-way traffic in the second half. I don't think Ederson has actually touched the ball in the second half. Wolves have barely crossed the halfway line.
Certainly not with his hands. I think he may have touched it with his feet. But yeah, he's had no danger at all to the Manchester City goal. They've just pinned this 9 men of Wolves in, and they're moving the ball about sharply. Everything which I'm sure Pepper's given them the information and the instructions to do. Don't take too many touches, move the ball around quickly, and eventually you'll create opportunities.
Gabriel Jesus in space now, down the right-hand side, deep into the penalty area, and he tried to go for goal at the near post, but it was diverted high into the roof of the netting, and it will be a goal kick. City have had 18 attempts on goal, Wolves have had 1.
Wow. And that one was, I think it was about 15 yards wide, I think they said.
Oh, it's the header from Jimenez.
Yeah.
Well, West Bromwich Albion have been hit by a serious COVID-19 outbreak. They're playing Reading today. 4 of their defenders have tested positive for the virus. Cedric Kipra, Matt Clark, Semi Ajayi and Connor Townsend have all been forced into isolation ahead of that game in the Championship today. Of course, the game involving Tottenham and Brighton tomorrow has already been postponed in the Premier League. And the breaking news earlier on from UEFA was to say that they don't know when or if the match between Tottenham and Rennes from the UEFA Conference League can take place, and it has been referred to an independent disciplinary panel because it won't be played before UEFA's deadline of December the 31st. It's a very busy time of the year, of course. 76 minutes played here on TalkSport. Manchester City leading by a goal to nil. It's been hard work for them today, but that penalty from Raheem Sterling has put them on their way to 6 successive victories in the Premier League. But Bernardo Silva's ball forward is cut out by Kilman, and it's the central defender who looks to move forward towards the halfway line. He's challenged by Foden, but it's diverted into the path of Hwang on this near side. He's challenged by De Bruyne, and Wolves will have a throw-in in uncharted territory in the second half, midway inside the City half.
Yeah, 72% possession to Manchester City, literally doing what they want with the ball. And again, look at the desire to go and press. Raheem Sterling's the trigger, and then everyone else in and around that area of the pitch goes and presses and locks onto the men, and more often than not they win the ball back. Aït-Nouri has done well on this occasion.
Aït-Nouri now looking to move forward. Hwang was ahead of him, but he checks back in field to find Ruben Neves. Square now to Cody. Wolves, of course, are still in the game at only 1-0 down, but Dendoncker with a poor ball wide to this near side. Nelson Semedo was off and running, but the ball never found it.
Yeah, they've just not got to get too frustrated, Wolves, because they will get picked off. And before you know it, you're 2 and 3 down. They don't want that. They've got a great defensive record. Stay disciplined, stay resilient. You might not win the game, but don't get smashed, because you can go into the next game with a bit of confidence, knowing that you've frustrated the champions of England.
Wolves, of course, will be in action in midweek, live on the TalkSport network, away to Brighton, which will be on the TalkSport app on Wednesday evening at 7:30. As Zinchenko brings it forward now, up towards the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Now Foden fizzes across him from the left-hand side, but it's blocked by Semedo. There is a City player down close to the halfway line. I think he was caught late as City looked to build that attack. It was Dendoncker who challenged Rodri, and he caught him fairly high up the ankle.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of, as he's tried to slide in for the ball, he's kind of back-heeled him on top of Rodri's foot, and that can be quite dangerous. Not because it's a dangerous challenge, I think it's because his studs are coming down onto the top of the foot, where, as we know, the metatarsals are quite a dangerous area for players, and if they get them broke, they could be out for 6 weeks. He seems all right, Rodri, but yeah, John Moss, yellow card for Dendoncker.
And we had a flurry of yellow cards late in the first half, including 2 in quick succession for Raul Jimenez, as Laporte plays it wide to Bernardo Silva down the City left. And at times the game is being played at walking pace, because Wolves are so deep and City have found it hard to break them down all day, and it may turn out that a penalty from Raheem Sterling is the only difference between the two sides. It's cleared away by Saiss up towards the halfway line. Now Neves and Aït-Nouri. Lovely body swerve from him to evade Foden. He's then been body checked, and it will be a Wolves free kick close to the halfway line.
Good skill by Aït-Nouri there, showing he can go the other way as well. Defended well against Raheem Sterling in general, and then shows he's got a little bit of creativity going the other way, a little drag back. Won his team the foul, just takes that little bit of pressure off the team, a little bit of respite for the back five.
Now Foden, wide on this near side. You're listening to Manchester City against Wolves on TalkSport with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Hundreds of branches, usually only 15 minutes away. Find yours now. As we head towards the final 10 minutes here, and Wolves have stuck at it. They have not caved in following the penalty from Raheem Sterling, the 32nd player to score 100 Premier League goals, as Zinchenko finds De Bruyne quickly onto Gabriel Jesus, and the low shot towards the near post is turned aside by Jose Sá for a corner.
Yeah, great ball in by the Gundogan. The ball in, by Kevin De Bruyne. The ball into him. I think a nutmeg pass to pick Kevin De Bruyne out was outstanding. Little slide rule pass by De Bruyne, and it's a little bit the angles against him for Jesus. He goes to the near post, and it's a good save by Jose Sá.
But this will be 5 blanks in 6 games for Wolves. Foden with the corner, and the header at the far post from Rodri is gathered well by Jose Sá.
Just couldn't generate the power there. A little bit of a loopy cross in, and he couldn't generate the power.
There have been too many of those, haven't there?
Yeah, but they've tried to switch it up. They've put loopy ones in, they've put hard, low ones in.
Well, João Cancelo is now going to be booked on the far side for a pullback, and it will be a free kick for Wolves close to the halfway line. It was Hwang who he was befuddled by initially, and then just pulled him back. Third yellow card for Manchester City, and we have just under 9 minutes to play, and Trincão will now be coming on to replace Ruben Neves. So it's an attacking change, and maybe Bruno Lage thinks now is the time to possibly have a go.
Why not? You know, a little bit more expansive, a little bit more threat going forward. See if you can pose Manchester City 1 or 2 troubles going the other way. 10 minutes to go.
Well, their only scorer in their past 6 games, Raul Jimenez, has been in the dressing room since before half-time, but Wolves here do have a free kick. Kilman and Saiss are both forward, and it's flicked on towards Kilman inside the area, and for the first time in the second half, Ederson touches the ball with his hands in the 82nd minute. And he quickly bowls it out towards De Bruyne, but the retreating Dendoncker wins it back, and now here is Semedo finding Dendoncker again. João Moutinho challenged by De Bruyne. It spins into the path of Sterling, back towards De Bruyne again, and now Gabriel Jesus just driven wide by the pace of the pass, but Jesus is able to gather on the byline.
Thought Raheem was in there. He went for the 1-2. There was no defender covering across. I feel Kevin De Bruyne possibly picked out the wrong option there in picking out Jesus. To his right, he had Raheem Sterling going for the 1-2. Just missed that opportunity. I think Kevin De Bruyne thought it was too obvious to do the 1-2, but on that occasion you could see there was a lot of desire to get wrong side of his defender by Raheem, and he would have been in on the right hand side.
And the yellow card for João Cancelo means he will be out of the game against Leeds on Tuesday here. De Bruyne with the high clip ball into the penalty area over the head of Gabriel Jesus, and that will be a goal kick.
It's interesting the transfer or the contract situation with Raheem Sterling, because obviously for a lot of last season he was out of the team. Phil Foden did really well. He's come back in the last 4 or 5 games, and I think he's looked like a little bit hurt and wounded by the fact that he's not been playing a lot of football, and he's shown a great desire to affect the games, and he's done really well. Got a couple of goals, a couple of assists. I think I'd like Manchester City to keep him on the books, because he is that good a player, and there's one thing that he has got: pace. You can't coach that into any team, and he's got something different. And although he might not be the most clinical finisher, he never stops trying, and I'd like to see him stay at the football club.
Only 27 this week, so he's still got miles on the clock.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, in this team, and the way that the City players are conditioned, he could be playing for another 5 or 6 years at the top level, couldn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Here is Semedo, wins it back from Bernardo Silva, who on the ground almost stretches out a leg to prevent the Wolves player from moving forward, but Semedo goes wide to Aït-Nouri, and now João Moutinho. He and Dendoncker are the deep-lying midfielders now, and they are trying to get bodies forward to support Hwang Hee-chan. Trincao down the right-hand side, and Semedo will operate a bit higher up the field as well. So it's almost a 3-2-4 when they have the ball, which of course is not very often. 5.5 minutes to play.
I've been impressed with Aït-Nouri. You know, he stuck to his task. I seen him when he first started playing games for Wolves, and he looked like he wasn't ready, but he's developed really well and shown he's got that ability to step up to this kind of standard, and he's put in a decent performance today.
Now Trincao has Rob Foden on this near side, but the challenge comes in from Laporte, as it so often does, and Rodri with a low ball along the ground, wide to the far side, and João Cancelo. Sterling receiving the ball in a standing position, wide on the right-hand side, back towards De Bruyne, who's just getting more minutes in the legs on his way back to full fitness. City, of course, here against Leeds on Tuesday. That game will be live on TalkSport 2. All of the midweek games in the Premier League live on the TalkSport network. If you download the TalkSport app and go to the live commentary section, that will tell you where and when the games are. And on TalkSport we have some really big games coming up on Tuesday night. Brentford against Manchester United at 7:30. Arsenal against West Ham at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. And on Thursday it is Liverpool against Newcastle.
72% possession, Manchester City, and they've just stroked the ball around as they like. Really, it must be really difficult for the players out there for Wolves, because having a man down is almost impossible. You know, it's almost impossible with 11v11, but going down to 10 men and having to do that for all of this second half, you know, the legs will be getting tired working off the ball. They've stuck to task. I think Bruno Lage will in general be happy with the effort from the players and the spirit that they've shown, but they'll still get no points if they don't score a goal, and that's the problem they've got now. Do they throw a little bit going forward and push men forward, or do they try and just stay in the game and not concede any more goals?
Well, City have had 21 attempts on goal, 8 of those on target, 14 corners. Wolves have had one header 15 yards wide, No shots on target, no corners. It has been that sort of game, and of course Wolves were very much in the game until the red card from Raul Jimenez, but the second half all became about damage limitation really, and just trying to hang on for a 0-0 draw. And as many City fans begin to make their way out of the Etihad Stadium now, plenty of empty seats here today. Of course it's a busy time and plenty going on, a couple of weeks away from Christmas, and Leeds here on Tuesday. Tickets still available for that game as well. There's Ruben Diaz on the halfway line, and Diaz and Laporte have had so little to do defensively since the red card for Jimenez, because when Jimenez was there and Traore was running in behind, Wolves did have some sort of threat, but in the second half they've had nothing, which is understandable.
Of course it is, yeah. But that's why you need your centre-halves to be able to play the ball well and move the ball and have great technical ability, and you know they've certainly had that. Moving the ball left to right, keeping it alive, keeping the intensity of moves, working the legs off this Wolverhampton Wanderers side. And that's why they're creating so many different situations now, because the Wolves players have had to work so tirelessly out of possession.
Now Zinchenko on this near side. Bernardo Silva makes the run in field, but it's short towards Foden, who fires in the shot, and it's palmed away by Jose Sarr. Another decent save from the Wolves keeper. And now Daniel Podence will try and break on this near side, but he's just closed down. Player who recently came on for Wolves. Now De Bruyne wide to the far side, and Jesus continues and invites the challenge, which eventually comes in. And Wolves just trying to create that one chance in the game. Trincao, but it's a dreadful ball from him across the field, only finds Sterling with the shot, shaped in right-footed and gathered comfortably by Jose Sarr.
Yeah, quite tame that by Raheem, probably about 23-24 yards out. Decided to take a pop shot, just didn't catch it cleanly, a little bit of dip on it, but very comfortable for the goalkeeper Jose Sarr.
Podence on the chase on the far side, Ruben Diaz with the back pass to Ederson, and those Wolves fans have had a long-range view of the action in the second half, because it's all been down the other end of the field. And we have 30 seconds of normal time to play. Game Day Live with Dan Windle, live at Anfield coming up following this game, with all the goals as they go in. Chelsea against Leeds, live on TalkSport 2. Norwich against Manchester United on TalkSport at 5:30. And Sam Matterface will have all the action from the Premier League and the Women's Super League and elsewhere, and also the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix during the Sunday session tomorrow on TalkSport. And there'll be a good deal to discuss from this game. Zinchenko rises above Trincao, and there are 4 added minutes at the end of the second half. As De Bruyne plays it wide to the far side, and Cancelo, Gabriel Jesus on the chase, but it breaks back towards Cancelo, and now Sterling in towards Foden. Seemed to be blocked by the hand of Kilman inside the area, but nothing is being given, no real appeals from the City players. Trincao wide on this near side, back towards Kilman again, and Kilman there throwing his body in the line of the shot from Foden, who looks certain to score.
Yeah, listen, that's why they've only conceded 14 goals this season. They throw themselves in front of the ball and try their best to stop it going in the goal. It's a great block. I don't know if it's his hand or not, but it's so close, I'm sure it's not going to be given. But again, good play from Manchester City down the right hand side, involving Raheem Sterling, Phil Foden, ball coming to the box. Looks like it's definitely going to be a goal. And bodies flying in the way to try and avoid that. Podence
wide towards Aït-Nouri for Wolves. This could be their chance right at the end. Aït-Nouri looking for Podence on the overlap. The cross in towards the far post. Kilman's header is tipped over the top by Ederson, and right at the end, the 10 men so close to the equaliser.
Brilliant from Moutinho. Overlap this late in the game, you know, he's worked so hard out of possession. The ball came into the box. Kilman made it his with his bandage covering his wound that he got up in the first half with the clash of heads with Neves. He got really well. The only thing is it's quite comfortable for Ederson, because it's a good height for him. It's just under the crossbar, and he does what you'd expect him to do and tips it over for a corner.
First corner for Wolves in the 93rd minute. João Moutinho delivers it towards the far post, headed towards goal, and in the end it's gathered by Edison. Kilman was in there again, and for the first time in the game, right at the end of the game, Manchester City were having to defend deeply.
Yeah, first shot on target. What we were on 90th minute plus injury time, and quite a comfortable save, but it was a bit of jeopardy in there. It was a great ball in. I think it was Podence overlap, got the ball into a good area. Kilman got himself on the end of it. First contact, hit the target. Good save by Edison.
Now De Bruyne swings a high ball across the field from left to right towards the far side. Gabriel Jesus has conceded a throw-in, which Saiss will take, and Wolves here looking to get on with things. I thought a free kick had been given, indeed it has, or there's confusion there between the officials, as Aït-Nouri does give a throw-in in the end, or takes a throw-in. Now João Moutinho back towards Aït-Nouri again. Hwang made the run in behind. Aït-Nouri taking a couple of players on and winning a throw-in on the far side, and Wolves belatedly offering a challenge here moving forward. Cody in towards Trincao in the centre circle. Now Hwang back towards Trincao again. Hwang now 30 yards out wide to Semedo. Looked to play it first time into the area where Trincao was in behind Zinchenko, but the Ukrainian covers well to hammer the ball away. Now Cody from the throw-in, finding Trincao. The whistle's now coming from the City fans, but Trincao has lost out. The ball forward, though, looking for Sterling, was cut out, but João Cancelo now finds De Bruyne wide to the far side again, and Cancelo, and City here just looking to finish things off. De Bruyne rolls it into the 6-yard area. Foden was waiting. It's cleared back out towards De Bruyne, and he plays the ball in, but the ball had gone behind before it was gathered by Jose Sarr.
Good play, good desire by Kevin De Bruyne to want to affect the final third, running in beyond.
And it's all over. Manchester City move 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. They made hard work of it against a dogged Wolves team who played more than half of this game with 10 men, following Raúl Jiménez's sending off for 2 very quick yellow cards just before half-time. It took a penalty given by the VAR official Andre Mariner after handball by João Moutinho inside the penalty area. That was scored by Raheem Sterling. A century of Premier League goals for him, and it's 6 successive Premier League wins for Manchester City. Manchester City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
Nigel Adderley, thank you very much. Yeah, Wonderwall blasting out here at the Etihad. Plenty of fans with their arms aloft cheering, because as you said there, Nigel, Manchester City are now 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Of course, Liverpool and Chelsea still yet to play this weekend, but that is psychologically a huge advantage. Nothing is decided at this side at this point of the season, but that is huge for Manchester City. They're showing that they are still a force to be reckoned with, and rightly so. We've got João Moutinho just walking off the pitch, looking very grumpy indeed, because it has to be said they defended very, very well for large parts of that game against a very unpredictable Manchester City attack. The City players are now exiting the pitch. It's raining heavily out there. Bruno Lage thanking the officials and his players as well on the edge of the touchline. What a game, Trevor Sinclair. You've got to say that if you're a neutral, which I am, you sort of wanted Wolves to get something out of it. Now, I know you're not a neutral, but Conor Cody there, just heading over to some Wolves fans, giving his shirt to a very, very excited gentleman, actually, and Aït-Nouri as well, doing the same.